All right, we've played several clips of Michelle Obama on her book tour as she hawks her fashion book, her book of pictures of herself called, what was it called? The Look. The book is called The Look. The book is called Look at Me, the book. And we probably don't need to play any more clips of it. We've really never needed to play any clips, but we did because they're funny. And so is this one. So here it is. Watch.
And we have to start educating people about all kinds of beauty.
Yes.
And our beauty is so powerful and so unique that it is worthy of the conversation, and it's worthy of demanding the respect that we're owed for who we are and what we offer to the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so that was from Michelle Obama's podcast, I guess, with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. The podcast is called IMO. I never knew what her podcast was called. Nobody listens to it, but IMO, in my opinion. So they chose the least imaginative title for a podcast. I can't think of a less imaginative or interesting title for a podcast than In My Opinion. No, that's not imaginative. Like if your name is Matt Walsh and your show's title is The Matt Walsh Show. Now that is innovation, okay? So anyway, she says that Black female beauty is owed respect and people need to be educated about it. And I have to say that kind of resonated with me. I've always said this. I've always said that anyone who doesn't find me attractive, it's because they lack education. That's always been my thing. It's not because I'm a hideous ogre. It's because they're just not educated enough. If you think that I'm not an attractive person, if you don't realize that I'm incredibly handsome, it's because you lack education, okay? You are ignorant. You need to educate yourself. Just the other day, somebody came up to me and said, you're ugly. And I said, wow, sounds like you're pretty uneducated. Hey, go read a book, you Philistine. Go back to school, take a class on why I'm actually handsome. And they didn't know what to say. They just walked away. Devastating comeback. So we've already talked about how Michelle Obama, lives the world's most comfortable and privileged life and yet still isn't happy. She's on camera every day complaining. I find it in some ways like endlessly fascinating just from a psychological perspective. But we don't need to go over that point again. I will note just one other thing that she said that stuck out to me. She said that Black women because she's talking about how Black women are beautiful. This is what she always talks about. This is a constant theme, is her trying to convince the world that she is beautiful. She talks about her own beauty more than anyone I've ever seen. She says that Black women are worthy of demanding the respect that we're owed for who we are and what we offer to the world. What is it that you offer to the world exactly, Michelle? What are you offering? I didn't quite get that. The look? You're offering your look? Your stunning outfits? Is that what you're offering? And I will say, this is a lesson for all of us, that Michelle is an instructive example, I think of this, which is that those who demand respect never get respect. And this is really Michelle's problem, is that she's got a lot of problems. This is one of them. She's going around constantly demanding respect everywhere she goes, ever since she's been on the public stage. Always goes back to the two things she talks about, that she's beautiful, and we're all supposed to maintain a polite, straight face while she says that, and that she deserves respect. She's demanding respect. You will respect me. But this is exactly her problem, because that just makes people respect you less. It's a life lesson for all of us. Contrary to what Michelle says, do not demand respect. You should not be demanding respect. That's the last thing you should. If you want to be respected, the last thing you should do is demand it. Okay, you shouldn't be demanding respect. You should be commanding respect. Command, don't demand. Demanding respect is weak, because it means you walk into a room, you're on the defense, you're insisting from a position of weakness. You're saying, hey, everybody, respect me. I deserve it. I'm a beautiful Black woman and I deserve it. You should respect me. It's pitiful, it's weak, it's needy, And nobody respects that. But commanding respect means you walk into a room and you don't need to make any demands. You don't need to ask for or insist on respect. You command it through the way that you carry yourself, through the way that you conduct yourself, your general sort of presence, your aura. That's commanding respect. Be a competent, authoritative, self-assured, intelligent, honest person, and you will command respect. This is crucially important with parenting also, not to get too sidetracked. This is a problem that many parents face. When you see these parents that have lost total control over their kids, and they're in the supermarket or wherever, they're at a restaurant, they're annoying everybody, kids out of control, and they're like begging their child to behave, and a lot of parents, they fluctuate wildly between begging, bribing, making promises, negotiating, and then also demanding, threatening. Like, they're just all over the place. They've lost total control of themselves, and so their child's out of control. Your child's out of control because you're out of control. Okay, and ultimately for kids, when they're freaking out, especially at a young age, a lot of this is they're confused, they don't really know what's going on, and then they look to you and you're projecting confusion and helplessness, and you're demanding respect, you're not commanding it. The reason that if your kids don't listen to you or respect you, it's that you're making demands all the time. With the holidays coming up, all those dinners, those moments around the table with family, I want to make sure every meal is special. That's why I use Good Ranchers. All their meat is 100% American, raised on local farms and delivered right to my door. The quality, well, it's truly incredible, whether it's a holiday roast, bacon for Christmas morning breakfast, or chicken for a nice family dinner. Knowing exactly where my meat comes from gives me and my family peace of mind. And honestly, people notice the difference. The flavors are truly better. The holidays are, they're about bringing people together and creating memories over good food. And when you're serving America's best meat, those meals become even more meaningful. It's the kind of quality your family deserves and the kind that they'll be talking about long after the holidays are over. I used to think you could only get a really great steak at an expensive steakhouse, but Good Ranchers delivers that same quality right to my door. Now I can impress family and guests without dropping $100 every time we eat out. And here's the deal. If you subscribe to any Good Ranchers box today using code Walsh, you get an additional $100 off your first 3 orders, $40 off your first, $30 off your second, and $30 off of your third with our code, and free meat for life when you subscribe. So hit up goodranchers.com this holiday season, full of delicious meals. Again, use code Walsh, goodranchers.com. Let's get back to the table. But demanding is not commanding, which is one of the reasons why, you see these kids that are really out of control, and you often think, oh, well, they must have really lenient parents. They must have these really lenient, must be a gentle parenting thing. They must have parents that never raise their voice or anything like that. And sometimes that's the case because the gentle parenting thing is also bad. But very often that's not the case. I mean, if you could be in the home where these kids live, a lot of times there's a lot of yelling and screaming and a lot of punishing and threatening that does go on. But the kid's out of control because this is a parent who has no control over himself or herself. A parent who doesn't command respect because they're always demanding it. They're always having to explain. I mean, if you're constantly having to explain to your kid why they should respect you and your rules, then you're already losing. You shouldn't have to explain it. You should be commanding respect with the way you carry yourself in your home. Anyway, has almost nothing to do with Michelle Obama, but needed to be said anyway. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.